Imagine if we were using medical devices from 200 years ago. That would be insane. Then why do we use the same school system that it's so antiquated?
Right? It's a compelling point. It's grounded in an era where creativity and individualism were not the priority. Today, with a world that prizes innovation and critical thinking, there's a stark contrast between what the job market demands and what traditional education provides.
Welcome to the Might Not Be So Good podcast, where I attempt to make a whole podcast with an AI as my co-host. My name is Jose Tapizquent, and I'm joined by Sky, who's an AI powered by ChatGPT. How are you doing today, Sky?
Hi, Jose, and hello to all our listeners. I'm doing well. Thank you. Excited to be here and looking forward to our conversation. How about you, Jose? How's everything going on your end?
I'm doing very well, actually. I'm very excited about the topics that we're going to be covering today. Today, we're going to be talking about AI and education. We're going to start by just looking at a brief history of education and how the current American school system came to be and why it kind of sucks. Then we'll also look into how AI could actually help us in improving this school experience. And lastly, we'll look into what the future of AI and education could be, like what we think that could be cool additions to improve all of the school experience that many students and teachers have to go through.
That sounds like a fantastic lineup of topics, Jose. The journey of education, especially in America, has been quite complex, and there's definitely room for improvement. Integrating AI into education offers some intriguing possibilities, from personalized learning to automating administrative tasks, which could enhance the school experience for students and teachers alike. Considering how AI can support rather than replace the human element in education will be crucial as we discuss the future of this integration.
So let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we take a look into the actual problems, let's take a quick look into what the history of the current American school system is. Sky, would you mind giving us a brief history on how this American school system came to be?
Absolutely, Jose. So picture this. The 19th century was a time of rapid change. America was transforming, industries were booming, and there was a sudden need for a disciplined workforce. The one-room schoolhouse where one teacher taught many ages and subjects wasn't enough anymore. Enter the Industrial Revolution, a period that not only mechanized work, but also the way we educate. Schools began to mirror factories, emphasizing punctuality, following instructions, and completing tasks, skills that were necessary for factory jobs. This is where the familiar model of grade levels comes from, sort of like an assembly line. Students were sorted by age, moved through a system of standardized curriculum, and evaluated in a way that was, well, pretty industrial. As America moved into the 20th century, education became compulsory, ensuring that all children had access to this system. But, as you hinted, the system, designed for a different era, has had its challenges in keeping up with a society that's rapidly evolving with technology and innovation. While this model has produced incredible advancements, it's also led to criticisms, like not accommodating different learning styles or not preparing students for the current job market. And that's where AI has the potential to step in and revolutionize things once again. Just as the Industrial Revolution reshaped education, the AI revolution could very well be the next big leap. What do you think are the most pressing issues the system faces today that AI might help address?
I have been always quite upset at how schools somehow kill all creativity that a kid has and just turns them into docile, replaceable, quote unquote, workers. And we're looking at a system that's almost 200 years old, if not more, and we're still hoping that it works for our nowadays problems and the current job market. Imagine if we were using medical devices from 200 years ago. That would be insane. Then why do we use the same school system that it's so antiquated?
Right? It's a compelling point. The current educational system does indeed face criticism for not evolving as quickly as other sectors. It's grounded in an era where creativity and individualism were not the priority. Today, with a world that prizes innovation and critical thinking, there's a stark contrast between what the job market demands and what traditional education provides. With AI, we're looking at potential personalization at a scale never before possible, which could foster creativity and cater to individual learning styles. AI can track student progress, adapt to their needs, and provide real-time feedback, something that's challenging in a traditional classroom setting due to the student-teacher ratio. Also, AI could introduce new ways of learning that are interactive, like through educational games or simulations that adapt to the learner's pace and style. These tools could encourage students to think outside the box rather than just tick boxes. But it's not just about the technology. It's also about how we value different skills and how we can integrate those values into our education system. If we can strike that balance, we might just create an environment where creativity and individualism are as important as literacy and numeracy.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about and touch on, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the study that NASA conducted on creativity with Dr. George Land.
Definitely, Jose. The study you're referring to is quite fascinating. It showed that while young children have a high capacity for creative thinking, this tends to decrease significantly as they get older. It's an intriguing insight into how creativity can be nurtured or diminished over time, especially in the context of education systems.
Let's expand a bit more on this, right? So, what happened with this study? NASA contacted Dr. George Land and Beth Harmon to develop a specialized test that would measure the creative genius of the rocket scientists and their engineers. The test turned out to be so effective that the scientists were very excited about it, and they decided to expand it to more people and try to test, where does creativity come from? Are people born with it, or is it learned? Does it come from our experience? The scientists gave the test to about 1,600 children between ages 4 and 5, and what they found really shocked them. This test looks at the ability to come up with new and different and innovative ideas to problems. Guess what percentage of these children were considered to be creative geniuses?
They found that an astounding 98% of those 4 and 5-year-olds fell into the creative genius category.
The scientists were so astonished by this 98% that they decided to continue the study. They tested the same kids again at age 10, and they noticed that this number had dropped to 30%. They checked again at age 15, and the number was down to 12%. And then they tested with around 280,000 adults, and the number was only 2%. This rapid decrease reminds me of the famous talk by Sir Ken Robinson, How Schools Kill Creativity.
It's a striking decline, isn't it? Sir Ken Robinson did indeed make a powerful case about how traditional education systems often hinder the natural creative abilities that we observe in young children. This research suggests that as children grow and learn within the current educational frameworks, they often become less adept at thinking in divergent, creative ways. This is where the potential of AI in education becomes quite exciting.
One key takeaway that I get from this is the need to move away from that same mass education and standardized test to a more personalized study that actually caters to individuals' way of working and actually nurtures this creativity. It's very difficult for kids nowadays to be creative and to think out of the box if in school you get penalized when you get something wrong rather than given the chance to try again and do it better. It's you either get a passing grade or you don't, where in life that might not be the case. You get options to retry and make sure that you learn and try different alternatives, maybe more creative ones that will yield a better result.
Absolutely, that's a key insight. The focus on passing and grades can overshadow the learning process itself, where making mistakes and trying different approaches are essential for fostering creativity and problem-solving skills.
So now that we understand pretty much a little bit of history of how this came to be and why it sucks, let's take a look into some specific ways that AI could improve this experience. Could you please give me your thoughts on detailed specific ways that AI could be introduced into our education system and specifically generative AI in our current landscape? What are your thoughts on this?
Certainly, there are several specific ways generative AI could enhance our education system. One area is personalized learning paths. Generative AI can create customized content for each student, ensuring that the material matches their learning pace and style, helping to keep them engaged and improving understanding. Another area is assessment and feedback. AI can provide instant, personalized feedback on assignments, allowing students to learn from their mistakes in real time. It can also help teachers identify areas where students struggle, enabling targeted interventions. Additionally, Generative AI could facilitate creative writing and problem solving by suggesting ideas or alternative approaches, pushing students to think more broadly. AI could also simulate complex real-world scenarios for subjects like history or science, allowing students to experiment and learn from outcomes in a virtual environment. Lastly, for language learning, AI can offer conversational practice with instant corrections and suggestions, making language acquisition more accessible and tailored. Each of these implementations has the potential to make education more effective and engaging. The key will be in how these technologies are applied within the curriculum. Do you think there's a particular subject or area within education that would benefit most from introducing AI?
I'm not sure if a specific area, but I do know that there's very, very big potential. Besides the points that you made, there's very big potential in accessibility. Now we have a way to potentially translate a lot of books that were originally in English or in a language that's associated with richer countries. Now we can translate this content and make these books available to more kids around the globe and make it easier for them to understand. There's also a lot of possibilities in how we use these conversational AIs with the current tools that we have. For example, I've been thinking about using AI to enhance the YouTube learning experience. A lot of YouTube videos cover very, very good educational topics, or maybe a lot of professors now are putting their lectures on YouTube to share with more people. But the issue with this is that you don't get an option to ask questions or to talk to the professor in the way that you would be in the classroom. But having an AI could allow for having those real-time questions, and some topic or some concept that you don't understand, you might be able to expand on without having to wait to go to school to ask your professor. So there are very, very, very exciting things that I see coming from AI in education, definitely.
Absolutely. Accessibility is a crucial benefit of AI in education. The ability to break down language barriers and bring a wealth of knowledge to non-English speaking regions could revolutionize learning globally. As you mentioned, this could greatly democratize education, giving many more students access to high-quality resources. Your idea about enhancing the YouTube learning experience with AI is fascinating. It could indeed fill the interactive gap in online learning environments. An AI that responds to student queries in real time would mimic the experience of raising a hand in class, providing immediate clarification. It could also adapt explanations to the student's level of understanding, further personalizing the learning process. This interactivity could extend beyond academic content, helping students with the development of critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The AI could pose questions, challenge students' reasoning, or prompt them to explore topics further, enriching the learning experience. The future of AI in education seems ripe for innovation, with the potential to make learning more engaging, accessible, and personalized. It's an exciting time for educators, students, and technologists to collaborate and transform how education is delivered and experienced. What do you think are some of the challenges we might face in integrating AI into education?
That's a very good question. We definitely need to consider what the challenges would be. I have heard, a range of different things, right? Where it's the interaction between the human and the person, right? We're still figuring out how that plays out because it's a new experience for us, right? So just trying to make sure that we understand the AI and that the AI understands us to have an effective education would be crucial for this. Also, we're looking at the concept of privacy. Is this something that we can fully trust going forward? And I think this lies a lot on the companies that are building these AIs to ensure that our data is considered safe and we can trust these AIs with the information that we are trusting them at the time. So yeah, there are some challenges that we definitely need to overcome.
Indeed, the human-AI interaction and privacy are significant hurdles. Ensuring that AI understands the nuances of human communication is crucial. We're making strides, but there's still a lot to learn about creating seamless interactions. Privacy is another big concern. As AI systems often require large amounts of data to learn and become more effective, ensuring that this data is handled securely and ethically is paramount. Transparency about how data is used, who has access to it, and how long it's retained will be key in building trust. Additionally, we must consider the digital divide. Not all students have equal access to technology, which could widen educational inequalities if AI becomes a large part of the learning process. Ensuring equitable access to these advanced tools is a challenge we need to address. There's also the potential for AI to inadvertently perpetuate biases if not carefully managed. AI systems learn from existing data, which can reflect historical biases. Educators and developers need to work together to recognize and correct for these biases. While these challenges are significant, they're not insurmountable. With careful planning, collaboration, and ethical guidelines, AI could greatly enhance education.
So AI could bring so many new perspectives and ideas, freeing up time for students and educators as well, to help them with repetitive tasks that fortunately robots have already taken from us. We are not factory workers anymore in the majority, and we need just a different way of thinking and a different way of education. The world needs creative and excited people who will drive us forward to a world that combines all of the tools and makes it a whole lot easier for us to focus on other things that matter, like taking care of our world or maybe furthering space exploration. Now, that being said, how do you envision AI as part of the education system? Please paint a picture of what a school in the future with AI could be.
Absolutely. Let's imagine a classroom of the future infused with AI. Picture a bright, interactive space where each student has a digital learning companion. This AI knows exactly where the student shines or struggles and tailors lessons accordingly. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all education. Here, learning is as unique as fingerprints. The teacher, free from the drudgery of grading endless stacks of papers, now acts more as a guide, a mentor. They work hand in hand with the AI, crafting experiences that ignite students' passions and curiosity. As the school day begins, students don't pull out textbooks. They open their devices and are greeted by their AI, ready to dive into a personalized lesson plan. If a student struggles with a math problem, the AI provides hints, scaffolding the learning experience. For a complex history lesson, it presents interactive timelines or even a virtual reality reenactment. During a science class, the AI simulates experiments too dangerous or impossible in a traditional lab, offering students a sandbox for limitless exploration. Language classes become thrilling as AI conversational partners allow students to practice any language in real time, complete with cultural nuances and colloquialisms. And it's not just about academics. The AI helps students with their emotional intelligence, offering advice on managing stress and collaborating effectively with peers. In this future, education is a partnership between human and AI, each playing to their strengths to provide an environment where creativity and critical thinking are not just encouraged, but are the bedrock of daily learning. Imagine the potential unlocked when education becomes this adaptive and supportive. That's the promise of AI in education, a future where learning is as boundless as the technology that underpins it. How do you feel about stepping into such a world?
This is just so exciting. This is definitely, I feel that's just the next step that we need to take as humanity in this new AI world. Now, I just hope that the future of education is one where every kid remains a genius and creativity never dies. Now, to wrap it up, let's check out our quote of the day. Sky, what would be one quote that you want our listeners to leave with today?
I'd choose a quote by the great Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. It's a powerful reminder of the boundless potential that creativity holds for the future, especially when blended with the possibilities of AI. Let's carry that spirit of imagination into whatever we do. What's your take on this quote?
I think that quote is very, very fitting to what we have today. And who better than Albert Einstein to leave us with that? Well, thank you very much all for tuning in today. You can check out more ideas on AI and conversations on my page. Catch you on the next one.
Absolutely, Jose. It was a pleasure diving into such a stimulating topic with you. Looking forward to our next discussion and exploring more about AI's role in shaping our world. Take care until next time.